Good afternoon and welcome back. So today we're just going to start right where we started yesterday. Let me back this up. I was taking a quick little peek at it earlier. Again, this is the upper atmospheric chart. And again, we still see that pretty large, broad trough across the entire continental United States. And it's still showing, as we expect, that small little feature around the Nebraska-Iowa border to develop and move into our area here around the Lansing, Michigan area. And that is more than likely going to bring some notable snow totals for us. I say notable because it's not expected to be significant, but it's not, nothing. So if we take a quick look at the precipitation and zoom in, we do see that snow system is expected to move across much of lower and central Michigan, actually, through much of the day Sunday. So we are looking at some snowfall. How much snowfall, though? Well, let's take a look at some of the products on the National Weather Service Grand Rapid page. Excuse me. And let's see the low-end scenario, the high-end scenario, and then sort of the expected scenario. So this is the low-end scenario, which I personally really do not see happening. There's only about a 10% chance or lower that we see this scenario unfold. And this would just be a little half-inch blanket to our west, and that's about it. The high-end scenario, which also only has about a 10% chance or lower of occurring, is that we see 3 inches of snow, potentially up to 4 as this dark blue area starts to get close to the Lansing area, and areas to our west see 4 to 5 inches. Again, I don't really see that. The official forecast from the National Weather Service is for half an inch to 3 inches. And I think that's pretty fair. Personally, I think we're probably going to be around the 2-inch mark. And my reasoning for that is that I think the snow is going to be more on the light and fluffier side compared to wet and heavy, which is going to increase the snow totals as you need less water to get snowflakes. And the reasoning for that is, of course, the temperature, or the temperature close to the ground. So let's actually take a quick look at temperature. So the temperature forecast for today and tomorrow still remains pretty much on track. For today, we might breach freezing. I think it's 30 degrees right now. So we might breach freezing, might get lucky there, maybe, maybe not. But otherwise, we're going to stay below freezing. And as we go into tonight, temperatures are going to be just above 20 degrees, mid to low 20s. And then tomorrow, we're really not going to reach 30. We're probably going to stay in the upper 20s as a high. And as a result, there's going to be less moisture because colder air can't hold as much moisture. So that is part of the reason why I think that the snow is going to lean more on the light and fluffier side. And of course, tomorrow night, low temperatures, tomorrow night and into Monday morning, low temperatures are going to dip quite significantly below 10 degrees, maybe even further. So that is going to be quite cold. But let's not just assume like, hey, we're probably going to get some higher totals. Let's actually look at some individual model data. So this is the GFS. It's kind of a large scale, meant to be more of a long-term model. But let's take a look at what it's saying anyway. There's actually different snow ratios. And these ratios are like, say, the 10-to-1 ratio is like, okay, for every inch of water precipitation that you get, like if this were rain, it would be 1 inch of rain. For every 1 inch, you would actually get 10 inches of snowfall. So that's the 10-to-1 ratio. The Kuchera ratio is more... My words are escaping me right now, but it's like more versatile. That's the word I'm looking for. It's actually more of a formula, and it can change depending on the situation. And again, I did take a quick look, and in this case, I think it is going to be a little more accurate to what we will see, because it's going to take into account the snow is probably going to be a little lighter and fluffier. So as we go through, it's expecting about 1 to 1.8 inches for our area. If we take a look at the NAM, it is showing a little less, about 1.5 inches. And that's kind of a more medium range model. And let's look at a couple of the short-term high-resolution models, such as the HRRR. And that is actually showing us a bit higher at about 2.3. And I think that's actually going to be good enough for now. You can kind of see the average there is kind of around 2, maybe slightly less, but it helps me confirm what I'm thinking. And so that's my official forecast, is we're probably going to be closer to that 2-inch mark for tomorrow's winter weather. Speaking of, oopsies. Speaking of that winter weather, if we take a look over here on the Nebraska-Iowa border, we can see that we already have snow, which is where our system is supposed to originate. We already have snow, and it is already moving eastwards towards the region. So this is now officially a system that is occurring, and not one that's just in fantasy land. So this should approach our area, and while the snow is going to be not as intense as when it is over Iowa, and much lighter rates of precipitation, I do not see it disappearing completely. There should still be some sources of lift over our area, just given the overall pattern with that large trough and, of course, the shorter one moving into the area, and with us on the eastern side of that, it makes sense. We'll have some little bit of lift, and I don't really see too much that is going to get in the way of that lift. So, excuse me. So I don't see that system just disappearing, and it's obviously going to be cold enough for snow. And while the dew points are not very high, they're high enough relative to the temperature. So the relative humidity is actually going to be pretty high still. Last thing I'm going to take a quick look at is wind. So is it going to be windy? Well, through the day today, we might see some wind up to around 10 miles per hour, but only for a few hours, and kind of, I'd say late morning, early afternoon. And through today tomorrow, even with all the snow, it's actually looking relatively calm. Tomorrow night, we may have another bout of maybe around 10 miles per hour sneak into the area, but then the wind calms down again. We can take a quick look at gusts. Through the day, we may see some gusts up to 10 to 15 miles per hour. Again, it's going to be calm for much of the snow event tomorrow morning, and even through into tomorrow afternoon. And as we head in the evening time, we could see some gusts up to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. And then again, that moves out of the area. So overall, we're actually going to be getting our wind when it's not snowing, which is kind of the opposite of what I feel is typical. But anyway, the wind won't be very strong, so not too much to worry about there. I feel like travel impacts are probably going to be fairly minimal. Not zero, never zero, but I don't expect too much in that regard. And honestly, taking a look outside, I'm not sure we'll be able to tell the difference between 1 inch and 2 inches, or wherever we end up, given what's already on the ground. So that is the weather forecast for today, and I hope to see you tomorrow.